The January 3rd, 2019 Woodbridge Township Board of Education Reorganization meeting will now come to order. Let's rise for a salute to the flag and a moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now have a roll call. Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Ms. Bourdain?
Here.
Mr. Della Pietro?
Here.
Mr. Harris?
Here.
Mr. Molnar?
Here.
Mr. Tamburello?
Here.
And Mr. Treebwasser.
Here.
We'll now read the Open Public Meetings Law. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provision of this Act, the Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted as follows. January 4, 2018 and December 18, 2018, faxed to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Municipal Clerk's Office, posted in Avenel Middle School and the Board of Education Administration Building. The results of the Board of Education November 6, 2018 election. Ms. Sue Bourdain, 13,274. Mr. Daniel Harris, 13,729. And Mr. Ezio Tamburello, 12,945. This time we will begin the swearing-in process. We have with us...
You must not have walked in the door yet.
Okay. We have also Assemblyman from the 17th Legislative District, Mr. Joe Danielson, and he will be swearing in Mr. Tamburello. Please come to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. Use the Bible. Okay. Mr. Tamburello, raise your right hand. Do you, Ezio Tamburello, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people, so help you God?
I will.
Do you, Ezio Tamburello, solemnly swear that you possess the qualifications prescribed by the law for the office of member of a Board of Education, and that you are not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1, nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense listed in NJS 18A:12-1, and that you will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I will.
Congratulations, Mr. Tamburello.
Thanks, Joe.
Put the thin filter on.
We'll Photoshop it later.
He's pulling in the parking lot. If you want to do Sue.
Please come to the podium. Raise your right hand. Do you, Sue Bourdain, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people, so help you God?
I do.
Do you, Susan Bourdain, solemnly swear that you possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of a Board of Education, and that you are not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1, nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense listed in NJS 18A:12-1, and that you will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all duties of that office according to the best of your ability. So help you God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We also have with us Assembly from the 19th Legislative District, Assembly Speaker, Mr. Craig Coughlin.
I just wanted to take the chance to say congratulations to Sue and to Ezio for getting reelected. You do a terrific job, and we're fortunate to have you as Board of Ed members, as not just as an assemblyman, but as somebody who is one of your constituents. I'm happy that you're there, and congratulations. And if I just could take 2 seconds to talk about Dan Harris. There is no finer, more dedicated, more committed, more serious young man than Dan Harris. We as residents of Woodbridge are fortunate to have him. I have the privilege of working with him every day, and I know everyone here who has the opportunity to work with him is better because of that. He is just as good as it gets, and I am so honored to be able to swear him in today. Now, he's not going to get a raise because I said those nice things, but he does have my heartfelt appreciation. So, Dan, thank you.
Thank you.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. Sure. Do you, Daniel Harris, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people, so help you God?
I do.
Do you, Daniel Harris, solemnly swear that you possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of Member of Board of Education, and that you are not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1, nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense listed in NJS 18A:12-1, and that you will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I will. I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Dan.
very much.
Nominations are now open for the position of president. Do I have a nomination for the office of president of the Woodbridge Township Board of Education for the 2019 term?
Business
Harris?
Administrator, I motion to nominate Mr. Jonathan Treebwasser for president.
Second?
Second by Ms. Anderson. Are there any other nominations? Anyone else? I guess that's it. Okay. All those in favor to close the nomination?
Aye.
Aye.
Nominations are now closed. I'll now do a roll call. Ms. Anderson?
Yes?
Ms. Bourdain?
Yes.
Mr. Delapietro?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Molnar?
Yes.
Mr. Tamburello?
Yes.
And Mr. Treebwasser?
Yes. I'd like to just briefly thank my fellow board members. Quite honestly, the president is only as good as the board, and thanks to all of them, I have been able to accomplish a few things, and I really appreciate everybody's confidence. Thank you very much. I look forward to a very productive year, and I know that with all of your help, it will certainly be. Thank you. I'd like to open for nominations for the positions of vice president. Does anyone have any nomination for vice president?
Mr. President,
Yes, Ms. Anderson.
I motion for the nomination of Frank Della Pietro for the office of Vice President.
I have a motion for the name of Frank Della Pietro for Vice President. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Molnar. Does the board have any other nominations for the office of Vice President? Will someone make a motion to close the nominations?
So motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Molnar. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bourdain. Roll call on the original nomination motion for Mr. Secretary?
Just to close nominations?
Yes.
I think we can just do an aye vote for closed nominations.
You want to do
Just aye for closed.
Okay. Close the nominations. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Roll call on the original nomination, Mr. Secretary.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Bourdain?
Yes.
Mr. Della Pietro?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Molnar,
Yes.
Mr. Tamburello?
Yes.
Mr. Treebwasser?
Yes. Congratulations, Mr. Della Pietro.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Policy and Planning, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Policy and Planning Committee, on recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, present the following 8 items. I move for the adoption of the foregoing.
I have a motion by Mr. Harris. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Della Pietro. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Any comments or questions from the public? Roll call, Mr. Secretary. 1 minute, Mr. Secretary. Will you please make note that Mr. Sedana is here?
So noted. Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Bourdain?
Yes.
Mr. Della Pietro?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Molnar,
Yes.
Mr. Sedana? Yes. Mr. Tamburello?
Yes.
Mr. Treebwasser?
Yes. Finance and Insurance, Mr. Tamburello.
Thank you, the Finance and Insurance Committee, on recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools and the Business Administrator Board Secretary, presents the following one item. This evening, I move for the adoption of the foregoing one item.
I have a motion by Mr. Tamburello. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Della Pietro. Are there any comments or questions from the board?
Through the Board President,
Yes, sir, Mr. Tamburello.
for Mr. Wolferman, ESS.
That is the company that is Source for Teachers.
Thank you.
Parent company.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Are there any comments or questions from the public? Roll call, Mr. Secretary.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Bourdain?
Yes.
Mr. Della Pietro?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Molnar,
Yes.
Mr. Sedana?
Yes.
Mr. Tamburello?
Yes.
Mr. Treebwasser?
Yes. Is there any old business for the board? Any new business for the board?
Through the
Yes. Ezio, why don't you go first? You're veteran on the board.
Board. Thank you. Age before beauty, Mr. Harris, I guess.
Mr. Tamburello.
I would be remiss if I didn't thank a few people. It's a reorganization meeting and a swearing in of our team this evening. So I'd just like to, first and foremost, obviously thank the voters of this community for their trust and support, not only this past election cycle, but the previous 9 or 10 years that I've been doing this. It is with the support of this community that allows us to represent them, and that means all of us in such a professional manner. Obviously, thank you, Mayor McCormick and the Town Council for all they do for the board and for this town. My fellow board members, for all that you do 12 months a year. It's a sometimes thankless job, but I'd like to personally take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you. I want to thank the WTEA. I want to thank the teachers and our support staff for those kind words and all the encouragement, again, not only in this election cycle, but the previous 9 or 10 years that I've been in the schools. Thank you very much. I want to also thank Ryan Michelson, Jonathan Sterneski, and Beth Schreier for everything that they've done behind the scenes. Really some hard work and a great group of people there. I want to thank Ms. Bourdain, great new running mate, great campaigner, and certainly an asset to the board. Before I begin, last but not least, I'll say my family. I also want to thank 2 assemblymen here in the audience this evening. Our friend, a long-term friend, and obviously a stalwart in the community, Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin. Again, another tremendous help, not only to this community, to this board, and to this state. And then I would also like to thank my friend of 30 years, Assemblyman Joe Danielson. Just want to say on a personal note, somewhere our old ski coach, Bob Urbanski, is looking down on us right now. and saying, what the heck just happened? And I want to thank Joe for his friendship and his leadership in the assembly as well. Thank you, Joe, for being here. Last but not least, I want to thank my family. First, my adopted cousin, Dan Harris. He's become a family member to me. He's not really a cousin. But again, the kind words that the Assembly Speaker said about Dan are 100% true. A tireless work ethic for this community, for this board. Great to be on a team with him, and great to call him a friend, and he's really become family over the past decade or so and more that I've known him. And obviously to my wife, Jenny, who's here this evening, and my children, Julia, Lee, and Charlie. If I am a good board member or a good friend or a good husband or a good father, it's because everything I do is to really make them proud of me. And that's what guides me, and their support, their patience, and their love, I hate to be corny, means the world to me, more than they'll ever know, more than I can ever repay. So I want to really, last but not least, thank my family for that support and for being there for me every day of the year. And with that, I want to thank you all for your time. I look forward to 2019, 2020, 2021, and beyond. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Tamburello. Mr. Harris?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Ezio, you crushed Sue and I here, so thank you. Foremost, I want to thank the voters for giving me the humbling opportunity to return for another term. It's beyond humbling to be given the opportunity and the responsibility to ensure that your children receive a thorough and efficient education. I want to thank my friend and Speaker Craig Coughlin for the honor of swearing me in today. Besides being my employer and friend, he is a staunch public school advocate and a true friend and ally to the Woodbridge Township School District. After 6 years of flat funding, in just the past 2 years, Trenton has delivered over $9 million in state aid, with a schedule for more to come. And Speaker Coughlin and the gentleman to his left there, Joe Danielson, have been big supporters of public schools and Woodbridge Township in particular. To my fellow board members, administrators, district employees, and volunteers, I look forward to another 3 years of advancing our children's futures through strategic investments in technology and facilities, constantly evolving our curriculum to meet the needs of the 21st century citizen and workforce, and providing the best possible professional development for our faculty and staff. I also want to thank my running mates, Sue and Ezio, for being terrific running mates and partners here on the board. I want to thank fellow board members, Mayor McCormick, the town council, and our entire community for once again coming together and supporting our team and bringing us back here to join our fellow 6 other members who are terrific partners. I look forward to another 3 years with you. So I thank you all for your time. Now it's time to get back to work. I wish you all a great second half of the school year and a happy new year. Thank you.
And if I may, I don't know what more I can add to these two. They've always been great to me. I want to thank the voters. I'd like to thank Mayor McCormick and the town council for their support. I really appreciate the support that's been given and the guidance that I've gotten from them so far. The board members, you guys have welcomed me with open arms, and I really appreciate that. You're not as scary as I had thought you were previously. Not to blow your cover or anything. I want to thank my family and my friends. Without their support, I wouldn't be able to be sitting here tonight, and I really look forward to the next 3 years of, trying to help change the face of the education of the children of Woodbridge. I want to thank Dan and Ezio because you guys were amazing. I would be not sitting here if it weren't for you two. You were big guidance, and just anything I needed, anytime at all, day or night, you guys really picked up the phone and helped me out and guided me here. So running as a team was a great experience with you guys, so thank you. And everything they said, ditto.
Mr. Harris, you had a couple of shout-outs?
Yes, I did just want to mention Mr. True Boston and I discussed this. Item number 1 on the finance and insurance agenda this evening. The district will be switching its substitute teacher provider from Insight Staffing Solutions to a Source for Teachers, a vendor we had only 2 years ago. Excuse me?
ESS.
ESS, commonly known as Source for Teachers. who will be our provider within the next 30 days as per their proposal. The district, through Mr. Massimino, Dr. Massimino, will be assisting in your transition. Please check the website as early as tomorrow, as I'm told, to help with your seamless transition if you are with Insight, or if you would like to become a substitute teacher for ESS. Check out our website. We'd love to have you. We're always in constant need of new substitute teachers. And, I'm not going to add that. Just want to thank Mr. Treebwasser for that opportunity, and have a great evening, everybody.
In keeping with our past practice, we will open this portion of the meeting for statements from the public. If you wish to say something, please come to the microphone. Provide your name and address for the record, and please limit your comments to no more than 5 minutes in accordance with Regulation 1100D. Being there's no comments for the public, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So motion?
I have a motion by Mr. Molnar. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Della Pietro. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Carried.